Everybody speak.
Wogan.
We're all
Hello?
here. Can can you
Hello?
hear? Can you hear?
Can you hear us?
Oh,
Oh my
hello?
goodness.
What in the world?
You we can hear you. You
You can
can't
hear
hear
me, but I
us.
can't hear y'all.
What the French, man? Oh boy. All right. While Chris gets his audio thing sorted out for the umpteenth week in a row. Welcome everybody to Wednesday Night Race Chat Live here on Fan for Racing Radio, brought to you by the 110 Nation. We have our folks from last week joining in. We have at least Jamie Schweitzer coming back in. We have quite the episode for y'all. Chris was at Talladega all weekend long, so he's got the better intake than, of course, us casual viewers got. Boy, what a weekend! 3 races, 3 first-time winners. Starting with ARCA, Cletus McFarland almost pulls one out of the bag, but it was Andy Jankowiak representing the New York Northeast guys, taking the win there. The O'Reilly series, I personally did not get to watch, so I have to go off of who the heck won that thing. Taylor Gray, he's always been knocking on the door. No matter what series he's been running in, ARCA, Trucks, O'Reilly, and then, or not Taylor Gray, sorry, Corey Day. My bad. I read the wrong line. Corey Day, sprint car driver to now an O'Reilly NASCAR winner.
Yeah.
Young talent, has a promising future. It was just a matter of time to get him settled into the pavement side of NASCAR racing. And then, of course, Carson Hocevar. Chris, I see you covered well from the hurricane that happened at Talladega.
Hocevar.
Oh, we're going back to this again. Caution, Hurricane Hocevar.
Hurricane Hocevar.
Here I am.
Hey, he was a.
Rock you like
It was.
a hurricane.
It was ecstatic, man. Like, Talladega, you expect that kind of reaction from a guy named Junior Earnhardt or Elliott. And both Cletus McFarland and Carson Hocevar had a junior-esque celebration. Just unreal. The fans were electric. We were down in Big Bill's Cavern when for the end of the ARCA race, and like it was deafening. The screams, the hollers. So you're in an enclosed, humongous Walmart type of building, and it was unreal. The electrifying noise, the fans cheering as they thought Cletus was going to steal him one, and then Hocevar. Being where we were sitting, you can't really see. You kind of see who's up at the front. But the moment Busher, I guess, and when I went back and watched the replay, the moment he kind of got out of line, where I think he got tapped a little bit too hard by Ricky. Like that is when just an explosion happened, and you knew immediately that Carson won because of. There's no way Chris Buescher would have gotten those kind of cheers, and it was as I said before, electrifying. It was we were there in 2015 when Dale Jr. went back to victory lane. We were there when Chase Elliott won. This was that type of applause. This was that type of atmosphere. Just amazing to be a part of it, Taz and Jason, or CJ.
Mr. CJ, what's your take on the week?
I think one of y'all put in the group said it best. We knew it. We'd already had this discussion at the beginning of the year. But I think the fans now realize, especially the naysayers or the doubters, that we need Cletus and we need Carson in NASCAR. Um, this weekend, the excitement, the hype, the celebration, the chilies after the race, like everything, even the boulevard the night before, where you had Marshawn Lynch and Cletus
That's
and
Oh my
amazing.
lord, that was awesome to see that little clip.
just everything about this weekend NASCAR needed. It just like you, everything was just focused. We didn't talk. We weren't thinking about none of the court cases that were going on. You didn't think about nothing else. Even 2311 really wasn't even the talk. It was more of all this excitement, and you got an opportunity to kind of just feel some. I don't know. You got that '90s feel of NASCAR. Like it was different. It was something that we have not experienced in a while, and just to be able to take all this in this weekend and the whole Carson celebration and just listening to him go to Dirty Mo, and I sent that in to the group earlier that
Yep.
most of the time the winners call in, but he made a point to go down to the studio and listen to him talk and listen to him talk about how he could still see this fan with doing this and this fan wearing that, and how he truly appreciated the moments and the fact that he still tears up thinking about the moments, and it just so I couldn't imagine what that is like. Like most people, it's a blur, but can't imagine not only what the feeling was like, but be able to replay the details in your mind, especially when you're watching the video. Like I've been contemplating this for a couple of days now, and I kind of been coming off this whole on the fence about Rowdy and everything. Like I think that it's time to move on, and I think I'm moving on. Like I think I might be a Hurricane fan at this point. It's like just
Look
they
at him go.
reminds me, and I'm not saying he's Rowdy, anything like Rowdy, but just everything, like just the excitement, bringing like it has been so hard to be a fan when you're a Bush fan this last year. Like it's just been hard to be a fan, and this just kind of wants me to suck in and be that fan again.
Yeah, he.
That is absolutely crazy that you would say that, Mr. CJ Sports, because we actually had that same discussion that Carson Hocevar at this point. And so, what we noticed, like very quickly at Talladega, was the younger fans, and this is crazy because you're an older fan, but your former driver was Kyle Busch, which really fit 20 years ago when Kyle Busch was breaking in because you were kind of a young guy yourself. But what kind of really brought Kyle Busch to the kids side was, of course, the M&M sponsorship. And so that was kind of the correlation. He was the candy man. Well, now with Carson Hocevar, it's like all these young kids, that's the jerseys that they were wearing. They had the 77 Chili's jerseys on. And so it was like it was a moment of like, wow, Carson Hocevar is the new Kyle Busch, but without the villain. Because Kyle turned into the villain later on. Really it was the whole Dale Jr. incident that kind of created Kyle Busch as the villain. But Carson is not. He's not a villain to the older fans. I think at this point in time, he's really he's either not your cup of tea or he's like every kid's favorite driver.
Yeah, it's great to see some of these driver personalities come out. Obviously, we saw with Cletus and Carson. Carson supported Cletus through the ARCA race. Although Cletus was not there at Talladega himself for Carson, he was still watching the race. Called Carson Hocevar during the post-race press conference for Carson. And not only that, I mean, we saw a personality out of Noah Gragson. Like Noah Gragson finally came out of the shadow. Like we knew he had some sort of personality, and he showed it some through the Xfinity, now O'Reilly days. when he was in that series on a full-time basis. And ever since he joined Cup full-time, it's like we haven't really seen or heard much of Noah Gragson unless he's in a confrontation. But like just seeing the example that just seeing some of the personality he brought, as Mr. CJ mentioned, with him, Marshawn, and Cletus in the infield of Talladega on Talladega Boulevard, just it's amazing to see drivers connecting to fans, not only through like the typical autograph sessions or anything like that, but just connecting with the fans like and any other time. Like they want to have just as much of a good time as the fans do. Like, and that's the one side I think we have missed for some time in NASCAR.
I got a question for Chris, because Chris has been to Talladega multiple times. What is the boulevard actually like, Chris? Like, I want to know what this whole. I've been to many tracks, but we keep hearing about the Talladega Boulevard. What is it actually like?
It's New Orleans. It's New Orleans pre Katrina. That's the closest thing that you can compare it to. It is Girls Gone Wild 1998 edition. Do you remember those, Jason McMillan? Taz would be too young. He doesn't remember that. He doesn't remember USA and Girls Gone Wild advertising. It is your teenage cruise, your graduating high school cruise mixed in with a little bit of Mardi Gras, mixed in with a little bit of Girls Gone Wild, mixed in with some older perverts, and a lot of sloppy, smelly breaths, a lot of sloppy drunks and smelly breaths. It's unleashed. It's everything that Monster Energy would want to advertise to get you to buy their energy drink. It is
college frat party.
Yeah, someone threw it in the group.
like that's a good one. Like I don't know how I pulled that one out. Because I'm just going back on it. Look, it's so crazy. It's so wild that it's been at least 8 years since the last time I went. We don't go for the boulevard. My kids do. They love it. And I won't give you the ages of my kids because that would be a cause for an investigation. But they are older. Are they old enough? Probably not. But they are older kids. But so yeah, we quit going. Like it just, there's just so much. And I'm a married man, and I enjoy the quiet time. I enjoy the campfire and sitting around. And look, there's a time when that was fun, and now it's something else. But look, it's part of the reason why everybody goes to Talladega. It's a cultural part. It's not anything new. It's just it got subsidized into one area. So it used to be 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when my wife and I first started going, like every campground was its own party. And then over time, like people just didn't want it in their campground anymore. So now there's a campground version and there's a boulevard version. The campground version is not policed. The campground version is over at North Park where the flags are by the interstate. It's all the checkered flag, the yellow flag, the black flag, all the flags. The flags of Flaggerford. All right. And that right there in the center of all them flags is where chaos ensues. And there's no supervision. There's no police. It's just epic, wild Teslas driving through mud puddles and just craziness. Anything that you could think of, absolute chaos. In
Teslas?
The boulevard.
You're not talking those garbage can looking trucks, are you?
Man, I am telling you, like you would be amazed at who just goes out there and trashes their ish. And they're trashed, right? So there's probably no
freaking trash tin can looking trucks.
Yeah, you're talking about them Tesla trucks, but we literally saw a Tesla, white Tesla X Series, try to go mud bogging, and it didn't work out for him. But the boulevard is a little bit more controlled. There are police there. There's there's plenty of security in case something doesn't go good. But all in all, it's a controlled chaos, and everybody's there for one specific reason, and that's to have a damn good time. And that's Talladega. Get out here! What? I'm not going to drop that bomb. Why have y'all not?
Wow, he stopped himself.
I did. I did. I did.
We're in a new era
Miss
here.
Sharon. I thought about Miss Sharon. Should have been like, "Don't do that, Chris." Yeah, y'all need to get down here. Y'all have got to come to one. Just come to one, and you probably won't miss another. I'll send the Lear up there to get y'all.
Oh boy, yeah. So we got 3 races, 3 first-time winners. One thing we're gonna hit on before we try to keep going with the show here.
Is the legend of Talladega becoming the old Daytona? Is that what I'm kind of feeling outside of Talladega? Like, is it that big to y'all? Because it's always been something to us. It's literally our home track. But kind of similar to the racetrack that I worked for, there was a party that started years ago with a certain race, and it's just become it's the party and the race. That's what it is. It's the party and it's the race, and that's what brings people around. Is this what I feel like Talladega's turned into?
I feel like this past weekend there was something different, and I mean different in a good way, because I mean, in years past, at least in the modern years, it was like, yeah, we're going to Talladega, but there wasn't like this much like hype, this much as excitement as this past weekend brought. So this weekend just hit different. So I can kind of see it was, I would say, pretty close to like Daytona 500 like excitement vibes. That's how exciting this weekend was.
Like that's the Cletus effect. That's the Cletus effect. It started last year when he drove those mobile homes down with Biff. And it's just, I think that y'all are just now getting to see what that party really is. And look, the party didn't change. The party's always been there, but it's y'all finally being able to see the atmosphere and the festival that happens before the race.
I also seen a lot more clips from this weekend, like people that clipped a bunch of, if you watch TV, you missed this, and they showed things that you didn't get to see watching the broadcast, the things that Chris, you get to experience. I've seen a lot more of that this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, the Marshawn Lynch thing was, and Noah Gregson coming out of his shell, and
that blew me away. Marshawn Lynch, holy crap!
Right? That should have blown you away.
As soon as I heard Marshawn Lynch, I'm like, wait a minute, I need to take a real look at this. Like, holy freaking shiznit! Like, how did he? Like, it's starting to make me wonder if he's going to get more involved in NASCAR after this weekend.
Beast mode on the boulevard.
Well, we watched Shanahan, Mike. What was it? Not Mike Shanahan. The New York Giants guy, the guy that's everywhere. He's on Fox football. He does the ABC morning stuff. Bucktooth guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He's on everything. He was one of those. He was one of those ball players that somehow transitioned over to. He's a Hall of Famer. Michael Strahan.
Strahan, there you go.
Right. He's an icon, and we just really don't know how he went from being a football player to doing the ABC Good Morning America, right? I mean, this guy, like, wow, you were a football player. Now you do Good Morning America. Marshawn Lynch, for some reason, he's a cultural icon. And I think that's because he is who he is. And let me tell you something. White folks love that shit. White folks love it.
I was going to also get ready to point out, someone said in the chat, I was waiting for you to finish up. Jason Kelsey was there as well, also being part of the crew. Yeah. And so not just be part of the crew, but actually participated in the race.
Exactly.
There was a lot of things that lined up for this weekend to make this weekend such a big deal out of nowhere. Like it was crazy.
What makes me think that Marshawn Lynch and Kelsey showed up to this weekend was the whole Stephen A. Smith comment or whatever, in which Mike Joy made a comment on the broadcast, but he didn't really call out Stephen A. Smith by name. Nonetheless, he kind of tried to look for that, looping turn to get around the situation. But yeah, Mike Joy said NASCAR drivers aren't athletes or whatever, and of course he didn't mention Stephen A. Smith by name, but
Right.
he made sure to make it clear through the comments. So I'm starting to think Marshawn Lynch and Jason Kelsey were kind of trying to, be a part of it. And I think Kelsey wanted to really experience what NASCAR does. Like, yeah, you can experience it just by watching on the sideline, but the fact that Kelsey was actually part of the pit crew and actually participated throughout the pit stops, like
had practice all week with them and everything.
Yeah, like it was, I guess you could say, kind of unheard of. Just amazing to see that happening. One thing to hit on quick.
Marshawn Lynch was also at the Daytona 500, so he's had several involvements now with NASCAR. As a matter of fact, back in 2019, he drove the pace car at a playoff race in Las Vegas. He's also tried actually driving stock cars in the NASCAR experience and hit 140 miles an hour. So I think that this is not for show. Marshawn digs NASCAR and the people that are involved in it, and that's also that's if you could have an ambassador from another sport singing about your sport, Marshawn Lynch is the guy that you would want.
So we got drivers and fans still unhappy with super speedway racing despite having the stage changes.
But hold on, Taz. I think we're jumping real quick.
We're still in the green flag here.
Yeah, but on my list it says Carson picks up first career and does epic celebration.
Which could also lead to our under the hood, because people thought he was going to get fined for that one.
Yeah, I did not have that in the under the hood description. So let's go ahead and hit that real quick. The epic celebration. What do you guys think about it?
I want to hear, before I even put my 2 cents, I want to hear what it was like there. Like, that the fans had to have a different reaction, because it's never been seen. It's never been done. So what was the reaction of the actual fans there? Like, we saw the fan, we could hear the fans per se on the TV, but what was it like to be there during that celebration? I know it was confusing at first. So yeah, we're trying to figure out what the hell he was even trying to do, and then kind of almost hit the inside wall. Then after that, like, it just seemed like it was a whole different experience.
Yeah, so when you see people do stuff before, you expect things, right? You're expecting to see. And it kind of was, I was like, what is he doing on the side of the car the way Jimmy Johnson was riding on the car with Dale Jr. after the wreck that they had at Talladega? Like, that's the first thing that went through my head. Like, Carson's on the side of the car. Who's driving the car? Because my mind's thinking about Jimmy Johnson catching a ride with Dale Jr. back when they had the bad wreck or whatever. And it wound up, Jr. had a concussion, didn't know it. But that's besides the point. But you guys remember when Jimmy was on the side of Dale Jr.'s car, right? Riding back to the pits. Well, it's like, it's just not, it's not quite, you just don't get it at that time, right? And so then all of a sudden the car turns and you can see him kind of in there wrestling the car or whatever. And it's like, whoa, that car's going way too fast. Like, what's the game plan here? Is he going to jump out of the car? Look, none of that could have been scripted at all. Like, it was just, I think all of us fans were kind of in a shock and awe. Of course, there's cheers and there's people throwing beer cans. And as a matter of fact, one guy threw a beer and Carson almost caught it. I don't know how they would have felt about him being behind the wheel and drinking a beer, but we were that damn close to that happening. And when he hit the wall, I think that's kind of when, like, everybody was like, oh gosh, because we've seen what happened with Connor Zilich falling off the car. So you just, it's kind of that shock and awe. But all in all, man, the reception that he got from the fans was epic. It's epic, absolutely epic. And I think that in those cases, that is the only time the TV viewers get a little bit better insight of what's actually going on. As a fan, you've got people that are standing taller than you. You're possibly a half a mile away or a mile away, and so you're looking down the track and you're trying to kind of figure out what's going on. You're hearing all the screams and the cheers, and you're watching the stuff being thrown over the fence. And typically, that's not Talladega. That's not how you act there, right? You throw the beer cans on the racetrack when you hate the driver. Yeah, Carson was getting beer cans thrown at him, and they were full beers. So I don't know. I'm just glad that none of them knock him out of the cockpit or something, you know. But it's the rowdy crowd there that they kind of created that. But as I said, for the in years past, it was typically you threw beer cans at the racetrack when Jeff Gordon won. And they weren't very happy about that. But this time it was a little bit different celebration, epic. Of course, you probably thought yourselves, as we did, that we'll never see that again. And that's maybe not necessarily true. Steve O'Donnell didn't seem to have a problem with it except for hitting the wall there. And that's because, you could judge that and be just a little bit too fast and get thrown out. And that could have been. And what nobody's seeing, what nobody was realizing is there's a freaking ambulance that was following right behind Carson as if this was staged, as if this was already planned out. So kudos to the ambulance people for realizing that Carson was he was a little evil Knievel there for a minute, and they were in place and ready in case something didn't go as planned.
Now, he has done the celebration before when him and Cletus won the 2.4 hours of Le Mullets down at Freedom Factory. For those who don't know, that's an endurance race instead of a 24-hour race. It's a little over a 2-hour race. Two drivers split the race in half in a time limit fashion. And, yeah, Carson and Cletus won the most recent one. And somebody asked what was the inspiration for Carson's celebration and doing that. And Carson said Carson was like, I don't know, just felt like doing it. And then Cletus calls him up and said, dude, the celebration was awesome. And then it dinged into Carson like, oh crap, I did this before.
It was great to see. Of course, all of us are going to wonder if NASCAR is going to do anything. If not, does he do it again? And if he doesn't do it again, because that was his first win, how upset are the fans going to be? Now you kind of, do you got to do it again? Is this like the Carl Edwards backflip? You expect it every time.
Right.
But it was great. It was something different. It was unique. You kind of seen the same boring old burnouts. It was nice when we used to have the quickie Polish lap or whatever it was called. You had, Carl Edwards do a backflip. You had Rowdy do a bow. You had something a little bit different. Even when Hamlin was bringing a little bit with the whole crying thing, a little bit of change to the traditional
favorite driver.
Burnouts. Now, it was good to see something different. And the only thing that sucks is when he does do it again. If he does it again, it's not going to. It was. Part of it was about the whole shock, the never seen it before. So it's not going to be as big of a deal because we've done seen it now. Unless he does something, throws a twist to it, we've done seen it. So it's not going to be this whole big thing like it's been the last 3 days, but it will be cool to see again. And I hope that he does get to do it again.
I got some quick notes I want to read off real quick before we send it back to Taz. Carson Hocevar became the 13th driver to earn his first NASCAR Cup Series win at Talladega Superspeedway on April 26th of 2026, driving for Spire Motorsports. He is the first driver to secure a maiden victory at the track since Bubba Wallace did it in October 2021. The list of first-time winners at the 2.66-mile oval includes Carson Hocevar, Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse, Brad Keselowski, Brian Vickers, Ken Schrader, Phil Parsons, Davey Allison, Bobby Hillin Jr., Ron Bouchard, Lenny Pond, Dick Brooks, and a guy by the name of Richard Brickhouse.
Didn't Vickers take out a teammate either Johnson or Junior to win that one?
Johnson and Junior. Yeah, that was 06. Yeah, he sure did, and it made a lot of fans mad. I've got one more thing to read here. Carson Hocevar claimed his first career victory in his 91st career start The last driver to win in their 91st career start, Greg Biffle, in 2005. He did it. Be like Biff. He did it for Biff. How about that?
Man, can you imagine Cletus's emotions for all that?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
his
especially that they're all tied together, you know.
but damn, what a
So
weekend.
you also had Corey Day and Andy Jankowski.
Jankowiak. Jankowiak.
Oh Lord, I could never pronounce that name. They were both first-time winners. All three were first-time winners. Never in the series history have they had all three support series first-time winners. I don't know if they've had one with the ARCA, but now the ARCA is actually a NASCAR series. I would like to see that record actually recognized, because that's a pretty cool weekend when you can have three races, three first-time winners.
Listen,
Leon,
I could celebrate just as much because Andy J from Buffalo area, New York, home state, does it again. Short track racer, well known up here. Gets it done on a super speedway.
it's unfortunate for those two guys because the whole Carson Hocevar thing is going to overshadow their first wins. Like, unless you listen to a show where look the stats up, nobody's talking about their first wins, and that's unfortunate for them because they deserve to have just as much attention as Carson's getting. But the unfortunate thing for them, Carson has got this whole aurora around him, like this whole
He's
energy,
he's
and
driving the
that's
Dente.
that is, and the whole, that they recorded him going to Chili's afterwards. Like
That's
it's
awesome.
like, and so
When
unfortunately for your other two first time winners, it's their week, their shiny moment, their weekend is kind of just swept underneath the rug. Nobody's going to talk about it because of all this.
when was the last time we literally seen a sponsor incorporated in with the driver's win? Can you guys even, like, I mean, other than maybe uh Dale Jr. drinking a Budweiser after a win, or not Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick drinking a Busch Light at the end of victory. When have we seen a main sponsor incorporated into the deal the way that we seen with Carson Hocevar and Chili's? Because we've had other drivers sponsored. Ryan Newman was sponsored by Outback. I think Kevin Harvick even carried that sponsorship for a minute. We've had Golden Corral, with Dave Blaney. Never have
Was
we seen.
Did Rowdy win with Cheddar's as a sponsor?
Yes, he did.
was this whole
So
thing
did
planned?
Tyler Reddick.
Was the whole Chili's thing even planned, or was that like a last minute thing? Does anybody know? Like, hey, let's go to Chili's, like, or was like this already an idea in the works? If we win the race, y'all come out. Like, I wondered, like, that was just a spontaneous thing. Was there a bunch of people there, or all of a sudden the party came all at once and people, I would love to
Well,
know a little bit more
Imagine
details about that.
place.
Yeah,
Carson talks about it on the Dale Jr. download. I haven't been able to watch it all, but I did watch a bit of it, a piece of it.
yeah,
And so
that too.
basically, did you? Okay, so they went to Chili's. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. They had a cake. They had about 60 employees there from the shop. So obviously they put this together in flight. I think that he did make a post that they were fixing to go celebrate at Chili's. And so, yeah, I don't think it was pre-planned, but it was one of those deals where they put their sponsor involved into their victory celebration. And I find that to be amazing. Like, I mean, who else have you seen incorporate their sponsor into the victory celebration? We
Tell
didn't even see Kyle Busch eating M&Ms in victory lane, for crying out loud. So this is the new deal. This is what we do now.
I tell you what, Chili got every last penny out of what they paid for.
For sure. For sure. All right, Taz, back to you.
All right, so one last note. Despite stage changes, drivers and fans still unhappy with super speedway racing. I think fuel saving was still part of the deal that kind of hurt it a little bit. I know. I don't know if it's just the package itself, or if it's just the car itself. What do you guys think of it? Start with you, Mr. CJ.
I didn't get. I had 3 no call no shows this weekend, so I only caught highlights in the last 25 laps of the race. So I mean, the last 25 laps was great to watch. So you're not. I
You
don't
missed
know.
out on the big one.
I don't know what all I missed, so I'm not gonna have to be able to put a lot of input on this, unfortunately, because I got stuck at work all freaking weekend. It was horrible. So Chris, you're gonna have more thoughts on this than I am. Like I said, the last 25 laps look great, so I didn't know this was a whole complaint until the last 24 hours. I started hearing more and more about it, and so I obviously missed the boring part of the race.
Yeah, we'll let it come back to you because look, first of all, it pisses me off. It pisses me off that every news channel that I watch, Eric Estep, the Iceberg, all of them made a poo poo of a great race, right? You wonder why NASCAR got where we got so far away from the fan base and all this other crap. We made all these changes. Well, guess who was the voice in all those changes? It was the media saying, "Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good." Literally, guys, I think we're in the best. Look, I understand that there's some people that don't like the package, right? And they want to go back to the 98 Daytona 500 where cars were, nose to tail, but single file from front to rear. And yes, you could pass a little bit better. You can get out on the outside lane or whatever, try to push. That's not the style of racing that we have these days. As Denny Hamlin said in his podcast, we have way too much drag in these cars to have that style of racing. But to hear the media just completely poo-poo on the race is something that I'm really tired of because as a fan and being there, this is the one race that I would never want to watch at home. Not because it's not a good race, but because the excitement of being there over exceeds the excitement that you could ever get at home because it is exciting. It is exciting at home. It's exciting at the track, but you would much rather be there and experience it personally than to have to be regretful that you're watching it on your TV. Like that's what I'm saying. To watch it on the TV is not bad. It's regretful because it's 2.5 hours away from my house and I can go see this race and it's going to be absolutely amazing. And it just really burns me that nobody seems to be satisfied. Look, the worst race that I think I ever remember being at Talladega was the tandem racing. You guys remember that, right? Where 2 cars had to hook up.
That was my first Daytona 500 I ever went to. Is because of that during that.
And it just really wasn't that appeasing, right? I mean, the guys had to figure out how to swap out so that they didn't overheat because they were pushing too long and all that. Look, it's just this is what we have, and we had a big one. We had it in the middle of the race. Typically, we have the big one at the end of the race. I think kind of it changed, the complexity of the race having the big one in the middle of it. Of course, the last couple of years we haven't even really had a big one. I think at the fall race or the spring race, there just really wasn't all that action going on in the Cup Series race. They were really on their best behavior, but this race in the middle of the second stage or right after the first stage, we and the first stage was long. Now I'm telling you, 100 laps almost in the first stage. That was like, wow, when are we ever gonna come to a break here?
The fact that they went 3 wide in 5 laps,
right,
and kept it that way for 10 laps.
Yeah, I think that the swapping of the stages actually did work and made these guys race for a lot more. And just unfortunately, when you have a mid-race wreck that collects every single car in the field but 5, you're going to have some guys who are no longer in competition. And that kind of changed the way that the outcome of the race was going to be because you could no longer have 3 lines of racing. You were only going to have 2 lines because honestly, half the field was limping along, right? So it irritates me that we don't like what we have, yet I know for a fact we could have a lot worse. Sure, take the drag out of the car, get the cars up around 200 miles an hour again, and make it more in the driver's hands. I get that. But every single media outlet that I turned to this week to get information from or out of or get their opinion of something, they all had the same boo-hoo, like the state of racing just isn't good anymore. Tell that to the 140,000 fans that were there. tell that to the 2.18 million people. What's the actual ratings this week that watched it on TV? I mean, there's a reason why this is one of the most popular races of the year, and it's just absolutely nerve wracking that people don't like it. Like, what is there not to like, Taz? What is there to hate about this racing? 2.11 rating, 3.9 million viewers. That went up to 4.9 in 15 minutes.
The only thing I can think of would be is the drag causing these drivers to do the fuel saving strategy.
Of course.
I mean, that's the only thing I can really think of. I mean, like I said, I thought this race was pretty. As you said, Chris, I thought the race was great. It blew my mind that we were going 3 wide in 5 laps. We just started it. The fact that we had the big one, like 10 laps into stage 2,
right?
And that took out 50% of the field at least.
I mean, literally, I saw 5 cars get through there that were not involved in the wreck. Every other car was involved in the wreck, but 5 cars.
Some way, shape, or form.
Right. They may not have been damaged bad and were able to keep going, but they were involved in some sort of way.
In which Clinton Boyer made a point numerous freaking times. It wasn't annoying or anything of how Tyler Reddick won Atlanta without a fender. He had to make that point about 20 times during the stupid broadcast. Thanks a lot, freaking Chef Boyardee. Look, the fact that we had comers and goers throughout the whole thing, and I know people were blaming on Bubba, but as Sharon said, it was more of an accordion effect. If I remember correctly, somebody got to the back of Logano because Logano checked up because somebody blocked him, and Bubba just ended up getting loose. Like, Bubba tried saving it, and of course, in super speedway style racing, once you get loose, as tightly packed as these cars are, you're just doomed. You're in for the ride. So, I mean, yeah, I'll admit it. At first, I thought Bubba was just pulling a dumb Bubba move, but looking back on it, I don't really think Bubba was at fault at all. He was trying to protect the lead. And of course, somebody, with how runs come in because of the draft, how people, shift from lane to lane, sometimes things happen. And with how these next gen cars are, if you don't lock your front bumper right with the car in front of you, just right, that car can go set sail and see you later. I know Fords have this deal where the front bumper is kind of more a little flat versus like a Chevy or Toyota. They're a little bit more rounded. So if they don't lock those bumpers in right, shit's gonna happen, bro.
Right. So Jamie Sweltzer said Carson winning was the only good part of the race, in my honest opinion. I just beg to disagree. The big one this year was damn near the biggest one ever, except for the year that Tony Stewart wrecked the entire field and Matt Kenseth literally crossed the start-finish line half a mile ahead of everybody. That was crazy. Like, there was smoke. There was smoke going upside down. Then there was smoke all over the racetrack. And there was this little pink car that went, and that was Matt Kenseth taking the victory. That was absolutely insane. Of course, fan for racing, that's a loaded question. Jamie, I think, was comparing Talladega Boulevard to a college frat party. And then he also asked, which track would you like to see the Clash go to next? He voted Homestead. That's an interesting question. I'm not sure if I'm ready to answer that one yet, because I think most of us can agree. I want the Clash back at Daytona, just for pole winners and former former Daytona 500 winners.
I want to see them draw the numbers out of the beer bottles too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what?
I was thinking.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to throw you a curveball here. We're dirt track guys, right?
Hunter Blazer said Ross pushed Bubba a little too hard for. Okay, what? Dirt track. What?
We're dirt track guys, right?
What happens?
Maybe. What happens if Florida around the same time as Daytona? You see where I'm going with this? Why not have the Clash at Volusia?
Speed weeks. Oh wow, yeah. Put them in some real dirt cars.
Yeah. have like Prelude to the Dream throwback type shiznit.
Well, look, I swear one of the most funnest Daytona 500s speed weeks ever was the year that they did the little side race down off in the infield of Daytona, and I think they used part of pit road or whatever. I forget what that was
the
called.
backstretch.
At the
backstretch.
the backstretch. Mike Stefanski or something. He was really upset that he got Stefanik.
Mike Stefanik.
Yeah. I love that guy. I hate that he's the late Mike Stefanik. So, yeah, like I just would like to see that back at its original place to be. And let's move the All-Star race to these types of racetracks and these types of areas. I think the All-Star race in May down in Miami would be hot. I mean, it would be totally awesome. I think that they could really incorporate a real what was the word I'm looking for? A real party atmosphere with that kind of all-star event, kind of similar to where the Super Bowl is always put in big name spots, big cities, enclosed facilities and stuff like that. Let's do that with the all-star race. Let's like incorporate it into the major cities so that we can get people from the inner city involved, similar to what we tried to do with the Clash being at the Coliseum and stuff like that. But I think we're on to something. We've had the Chicago street race. We're doing the San Diego base race. We've done the Clash at Bowman Gray and over here at the stadium in LA, the LA Coliseum. I think that we figured out about how to get into these areas and do something a little bit different. And so I would look forward to seeing a lot more of that throughout in the near future.
All right. Well, that leads.
So Mr. CJ Sports, like let's let him one more time rebuttal, since we gave him a little bit more to work with on the idea of the race there. And what are your? Did you really make your statement on what you felt like based on my comments that it just seems like the media really tries to poo-poo on the race, and though you just said yourself 25 laps of it had you on the edge of your seat, so kind of give us that idea.
I mean, yeah, that's all I'd heard. For the last, I would say 2 days is how bad of a race it was. Or all of a sudden, I was like, I watched 25 laps of it. I also watched, I thought originally we were in the last 10 laps, but it was the last 10 laps of stage 2 when I tuned in, and then I had to go back to work, and then I ended up catching the last 25 laps. And I am a draft. I love Daytona. I love Talladega. I'm a different species. That type of racing, the pack racing, that is my favorite of all the racing. I love seeing them 2 wide, 3 wide, so close together. The draft play effect, it is the most amazing thing to me to watch these guys and ladies drive this close together, that wide, at that speeds, and 90% of the time they make it. Like you got your big ones, you got your wrecks here and there, but just like that is so intense to me. How close they are, how fast they're going, and how much they rely on how professional the next guy is or the next lady is. And that by far is the best racing to me. And so I want them to figure out whatever they need to figure out so the fans love it as much as I love it, because I don't want to lose any of these big tracks. I can't express. I played one of the video games. I can't remember what video game it was, of one of the NASCAR, and it was on the Xbox, whatever year it was, way back when. And that was the most intense video game I ever played. I was playing at Daytona, and it was like I was exactly how I described it, that I watch on a Sunday, as how it felt on that game. And it was the most intense I have ever felt in any game ever. before ever and since, and I can never repeat that. I think it's probably why I don't play video games much, because I never had that feeling again. And so to hear these people talk about the next, it's like I don't understand. I didn't see it in that 25 lap segment. So I'm glad to know that this is just more of some naysayers and the media trying to spin some hate on what we actually got, because I need this to be. I don't want to lose this part. Like, we lose so many tracks, we lose so many different things. Right. They rotate things around. I don't, and it can't lose. And maybe that's part of why I want the Clash to go back to Daytona, other than I'm just a traditionalist with it. But with the drawing the numbers out the beer and just the whole event. But any opportunity we're at Talladega and Daytona, I absolutely positively love.
Yeah, we got all right, so Chris, are you ready for our famous jingle of the night?
Oh, I believe so. Let me get this thing shared one more time. There we go. Okay, yes, stat of the day. Stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day.
Bop, bop, bop.
Let me get the stat of the day pulled up. Oh, stay of the day is what I said. Okay. All right. So the stat of the day is, are you ready? Car number 77 has started 1,126 races and has 2 wins, 5 poles, 34 top 5s, 124 top 10s in the NASCAR Cup Series. Now, I'm going to ask each of you after that stat of the day, each of you name a driver that has driven the number 77. And I'm going to start with you, Taz. Name a driver that has driven the 77.
Dave Blaney.
Very good. And
Carson Hocevar.
Come on, duh.
Cheap shot.
I can't think of anybody drove the 7. That was why I went with that. I don't know anybody else that drove the 77.
Sam Hornish, Travis Kalapel,
Brendan Gaughan. Wasn't Presley in there?
Robert Presley? Yes, Robert Presley was. Most recently, Eric Jones. And more recently, a guy actually, the guy who's got the other win in the 77 car, which is Justin Haley. Yeah, very good, guys. Stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day.
Bop, bop, bop.
I'm gonna have to send that to Dan Patrick. They'll probably send us a cease and desist shirt. Cease and desist. Maybe they'll make a T-shirt about us.
Oh boy!
All right. Well, now back to you. Back to you, Taz. Keep us going.
All right, it's that time to go under the hood.
No. You got to look at your list.
I did look at my list. Sponsor talk. Miss Sharon.
Yeah.
I skipped one part.
Yeah. My bad. I'm sorry. I should have separated that right there. I should have put a little space between the two. That's my fault. This is the moment in time where we bring Miss Sharon on and let her tell us about what's the upcoming shows on Fan for Racing, and also anything that we have planned.
Sharon, we can't hear you.
This week's watch list.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got
All right. Yes, we can.
Okay.
I can actually hear you.
We actually start on Monday nights at 8:15 with NASCAR Hot Topics Sound Off, in which Jay and I talk about all the racing that took place over the weekend by series and the hot topics associated with those series, as well as any additional hot topics. Tuesday is usually our interview day. We didn't have an interview this week, but we have a lot of interviews out there. And if you're watching the ARCA West race this weekend, we have talked to Cole Denton, Robbie Keneally, Kenna Mitchell is going to be in that ARCA West race this weekend. So you can check out their interviews from previous. And then Wednesdays, of course, is Race Chat Live, 6 p.m. Central Time every Wednesday night, in which Taz Taylor is host. Chris Crichton and CJ Sports all talk about the previous race, the upcoming race, and all the midweek storylines. There you go, Taz. And then Jay and I are putting together all of our previews. 5 races this weekend, and 2 of them are on the ARCA Menard Series platform. One is at Shasta Speedway in the West, and you've got Nashville Fairground Speedway for the ARCA East. Then all 3 series in NASCAR's platform are racing this weekend at Texas Motor Speedway. And then Friday, Taz and I are back with a fantasy report. We'll help you with your fantasy picks in the NASCAR Cup Series for Texas and tell you who you should consider and who you should sleep on or hold out for the
Not with.
Yeah, not
I'm
with.
sorry. I'm sorry. Miss Sharon, I need you to do me a big favor, Miss Sharon. I need you to stick around. I need you to be our Roger Goodell for a minute. Can you be our Roger Goodell?
I
just need you for a few minutes.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know. Have you ever watched the NFL draft?
Have
you ever watched the NFL draft?
The NFL draft. The
draft
day.
Okay. So basically, the commissioner he basically says, and for the first pick of the NFL draft, such and such selects such and such. Well, you'll give us the chance. But what I need you to do, Miss Sharon, is I need you to think of a number 1 through 20, and I need you to have that number. And then me, Taz, and Jason, we're going to pick a number between 1 and 20, and whoever is the closest to that number that you have thought of in your head, that person will get the first round pick. We'll go from closest to the furthest for the top 3 picks. So is that too challenging, Miss Sharon, or you think you got it?
Nope. I'm writing my number down so I can show you all what it is afterwards.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to go first. I'm going to use the number 3 because I do it for Dale.
Taz?
I'm going to go with number 14.
Okay. CJ?
This guy's studying like it's a freaking science project.
He's putting some heavy duty thought
Does she have the
there.
images, Taz?
Man, I didn't know you guys didn't hear me.
Like right.
No, I'm sorry. It was muted. I said it instantly. 13 is the number.
Oh, 13 is the number.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he did do Price is Right.
If I'd been thinking driver-wise, I would have picked a different number.
I got the graphics there, Chris. Don't worry.
The number I picked was...
Okay.
bingo!
15.
15. Yeah. Oh, wow. I picked last.
I should have picked
I should have did it for Biff. All right. So that's easy. So Taz gets the first pick, right? And then Jason, and then, Miss CJ, and then I.
That's right.
Miss Sharon.
And what am I asking?
If you'll put those... well, you present Taz as the first pick of the RCL prospect draft.
The RCL prospect draft. Okay, for the first time winner, or for what? Did you put this somewhere?
No,
we're drafting. We have 15. I didn't because I was just using it as kind of a prop there. So we have 15. We have 15 drivers that are potential prospects, have not had any Cup Series experience. Today, for this Under the Hood segment, we are going to, in honor of the NFL draft that just happened in Pittsburgh, we're going to draft the top 3 prospects that we think would do our organization justice. So, in other words, there's 15 drivers. There's 3 picks. There's 3 picks apiece. That's only 9 drivers. So 6 drivers will not actually make the grade. Only 9 drivers will be picked. So there's a list of let's put that list of drivers up.
Sharon, I got the share screen up.
Oh, okay. Let me look at it. Right here.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so there's our 15 drivers we get to
All
pick
right.
from. I will cross out.
I can't see the middle ones.
All right, hold on. There might be a background
Yeah,
issue.
that's kind of
Yeah,
tough.
it is a little tough.
All right, how about now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Much
Yeah, I had to
better.
enlarge it a
There we
little
go.
bit. All right. Awesome.
Okay.
All right. So
Taz, you go first.
I kind of did like a I kind of did like a mock draft in my head, and I'm not kidding when I said whoever gets the number 1 pick, they better pick this one guy, and if they don't, they're gonna fall on their heads with some screws loose and then some. So if this guy isn't number 1, well then we're stupid. So I'm picking Corey Heim as the number 1 overall draft pick.
Ah,
Okay.
whew. All right. My pick is still on the board.
Get out of here.
It
Okay,
is
you
Mr. CJ Sports.
Who's your pick, CJ?
I'm gonna go
For the
with
second pick.
and I agree. That's who. If I had number 1, Taz, that's where I was going to. I'm gonna go with old Butterball there, Brendan Queen.
Butterball.
That's a good one. That's a good one, though.
All
like for real, I
right.
didn't. I expected him to go round 2 or round 3, but definitely.
Okay,
All
All right.
Chris.
So, look, you called my bluff, of course, Taz. I expected to pick first. I expected to have the number 1 pick. So I didn't do a mock draft. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to take the most obvious pick, which is Cletus McFarland, baby. Cletus.
Oh, he's going for social media likes. What a joke.
I got the Johnny Manziel. I
Second
got the
round
Johnny
picks.
Manziel.
What a joke.
Okay, Taz.
All right, well, let's see here. I did not expect Brendan Queen. I did not expect Cletus to go in round 1. I'm not going to lie.
You're going to get the next best one out there.
So this guy
He
falls
is.
right into my lap. I projected him to go number 2 at the very lowest, number 3, and he's falling right here at number 4, and I'm going to grab him. I'm going with Raja Caruth.
What? What?
Not what I was expecting.
Oh,
Okay,
me
CJ, you
neither.
got your
Me
chance.
neither. This is good. This is good for me.
I'm gonna go with Corey Day.
Yeah, that's good. He was on my draft board. He was definitely on my draft board.
Okay, Chris, who are you going to take?
My pick, there we go. So there is a guy that's on the board, and I really would like to take him right now. But unfortunately, his father, was in racing, and he didn't really turn out to be all that great. So I'm going to roll the dice here. I'm going to go with a young guy that actually I got to see race one time in 2021 at the USCS race down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Completely forgot about this guy. He was on our 110 Nation Sports exclusive interview. That's none other than Brent Cruz. Come on down, Brent Cruz. Let's race for a flag of caution.
I was thinking Carson.
Yep. Come on.
Waffle.
I thought that's where it was going too.
Okay,
Taz,
I had to throw you a curveball.
All right. Let's see here. We got some big names here. I like Sam. I like Taylor. I like Lane. And I like Caden Honeycutt, and I figured he's going to be somebody's round 3 pick, but he's not mine. And I say this because he did well with the Haas, not the Haas, Halmar Friesen camp when he filled in for Stewart. I'm waiting for him to hit that hurdle with Tricon since he is in Corey Heim's old truck, and he's put himself in contention but hasn't finished the job yet. But somebody who has finished the job, and I guess you can say top equipment for the truck series, just they need that little extra help on the cup side. I'm going to stick my nose in with Lane Riggs.
All right.
Oh my gosh! No way! You took Lane away from me.
He's
Okay.
the
Oh my
steal of
god!
the
Can we
draft.
trade?
CJ,
No.
where
Oh
you
my
going?
gosh! There was no way. When I put Lane on there, I said, "There's no way anybody will pick this guy. This is my personal pick." By putting Lane Riggs there. Oh my gosh! Wow. I'm heartbroken. I really thought Lane was going to drive for me. All right, Mr. CJ Sports.
The steal of the draft.
Yeah.
He's studying. Look
Now
at him
that's going
go.
to send me in another way.
I can see that brain and the smoke coming into play now.
Putting
Well, there's
some hard
really
thought into it.
two big prospects left, and you just kind of wonder what he's thinking right now. If maybe he needs to see a little bit more, because there's also an Italian over there that just really
Oh,
seems to get
damn.
it, and I don't think
I-
he's gotten enough. He's the
I was
one
wondering. Yes, I was wondering why she hadn't crossed off the name I said yet. I thought we was talking about Chris sitting there thinking about it. I'm going with Sammy Smith.
You're taking Sammy
Slamming
Smith?
Sammy Smith.
Yes.
Okay.
Swinging Sammy.
Wow, no Carson Cavapo. Wow.
All right, Chris, you
Well,
can take
this
it.
should be easy. This should be. Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah, it should be easy
I'm
for the
think,
guy who's
I've heard
whining about his Lane Riggs pick being stolen.
Well, yeah, and what's crazy is we're going to leave a couple of these guys on the board, and nothing left. You know, Parker Ratzlaff. I don't know if too many people know about him yet. His name's kind of been in the media here lately. And Taylor Gray, of course, he has a great ride up there with Joe Gibbs Racing. Even Caden Honeycutt. I think we just need to see a little bit more of them. So really, my battle right now is between: do I want to take Carson Cavapo or do I want to take William Sawalich? And William Sawalich, if you were to put these two guys side by side, they kind of have struggled in good rides, but you kind of expect them to get it. Now, Sawalich, I think, finally got him a win. I think it was at Kansas. He picked up a win. Carson, he's having to go in between two different cars, two different rides this year to complete a full season. So I just don't know if we're going to get everything out of Carson that we would expect to see. So without a doubt, I think I'm going to go with William Sawalich as my third and final pick.
Okay. The
Fair
Minnesota guy. Jay would be very happy with that.
Fair enough. So, the reason why I went with my picks the way that I did, I'm going to quickly explain this. So, I took Corey Heim because for Heim, he's proven he can run and compete in the Cup Series, and give him time, he's going to be a top front runner, contention for wins, possibly a championship. Then for my second pick, I took Raja because if he doesn't do that well in the Cup Series like I would hope, at least he gives me a chance at an O'Reilly Part Series championship. Then I look at Lane Riggs. If he doesn't do well moving up out of the Truck Series, at least I have a Truck Series championship contender. So I'm contending for championships in all three series.
All right, CJ, you want to tell us why you picked your guys?
Just the best names on the board. I felt I didn't have all this detailed information. As a matter of fact, I forgot all about the draft, so I just kind of shot at the hip with it all. I was going to go Corey Heim, number one. I just felt that Queen was probably my next best pick. I did want Cletus, but I didn't want to have him. It was more the hype and all the other stuff versus what I think he may or may. And it's not, I don't think Cletus is a good driver, just what opportunities. Like, will he have these opportunities, and how long will these opportunities open up? We're starting to see more and more, but how long is this going to last? Is this just a wave, a popularity thing? Are our teams going to keep giving him a chance? Is the sponsorship money going to come in? So I had to take that into consideration. And my third pick, I was actually going to go with Frank Cruz, but I think Chris is the one that picked him up before I had a chance to get him in the third round. So I went with Corey Day. Obviously had a great weekend. So I think he's obviously starting to prove something. So that's why I went with those picks.
Okay. And Chris.
Yeah, so it's all about the money, baby. That was my first pick. I needed to secure some financial situations. That way, I can make the team a little bit stronger. Get William Sawalich all wound up, and who was my other pick? Because it sure as
Cruz.
heck wasn't Lane Riggs. It was Cruz.
Cruz.
I think Cruz. I think Cruz is the second best prospect in this entire lineup. I really do. Like, I think we're sleeping on Brent Cruz, not with Brent Cruz. So that's a good deal.
Jeez Louise.
Brent is,
Whoa.
I think Brent is one of the underscored prospects. Sorry, I was trying not to laugh. Underscored prospects on this draft board. I think that you could build an organization around him. He's going to be a hot commodity. One of the guys that I'm disappointed that I did not put on there was actually Jesse Love. Love, a
Oh, yeah.
champion. I kind of kicked myself in the rear end for that one, but I kind of feel like Jesse Love's already getting that promotion. We just haven't heard about it yet. So let's just say that Jesse Love was already committed to a Cup schedule. These were the guys that have not quite made it there yet. So Jesse Love should be the next one up, right? I think that we can all agree with that. He's probably already called for. But these are the guys that are inspired to be a NASCAR Cup Series driver, and they're not quite there yet. So Brent Cruz, I really think, outside of Corey Heim, is almost a sure bet. It's just the kid's got a lot of talent. So I've secured the money through Cletus. I've gone out there and kind of made a prediction with Sawalich, but I am guaranteed my second round Brent Cruz is going to be a star in the Cup Series.
All right. So I think my job is done here.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sharon, for that 15 minutes of time. We did something different this week, and I think that was really fun. This was really fun. Did y'all think it was fun?
I liked it. Definitely different.
Yeah, I like it.
So. I think we had a comment as well, right? Didn't we have somebody who commented?
So, Hunter says, I think Honeycutt wins the championship.
Now I can't hear anybody.
Caden Honeycutt went undrafted. And he's saying Caden Honeycutt.
Can you hear now, Chris?
Yeah, I can't hear anybody. This is ridiculous.
He lost his audio. Well, Chris is working his audio deals out. The next is we keep going with Under the Hood segment. We have Steve O'Donnell and Ben Kennedy named the top brass people in charge of NASCAR. Steve O'Donnell, the new CEO, as Jim France suddenly steps down. I mean, it was only a matter of time. We've only praised for somebody from the France family to step out of that seat. It was, like I said, just a matter of time. I feel like Steve O'Donnell, also a matter of time, just going to take that CEO spot. I know we've given Ben Kennedy some praises, waiting for him to take charge, and good to see him be Steve O'Donnell's right-hand man. Thoughts of this move within the NASCAR branch of the people that now run NASCAR? I think we'll start with Mr. CJ. We'll see if Chris can still having audio issues or if he's good.
Yeah, I just switched over to my backup internet. We're obviously having some house internet. My wife just informed me that she was having issues, so I just went to my cell phone service internet here. So hopefully we will resolve my issues.
From what I heard, it's a good move. I do know a lot of people are glad that it's someone else other than the France family in that position. From what I've heard, this is a popular pick, and now a lot of things have been said. So now we'll see if he follows through with what things he has talked about. So I don't know. What was obviously we're gonna have to see. I don't know, the change thing is such a weird thing in NASCAR. Like NASCAR pretty much tries to give the fans everything they want, and they get everything they want, and they complain about getting what they want because it ends up not being what they really wanted. And so I feel bad for anybody that gets put in the top positions because they try so hard to make the fans happy and give them what they want, and it just half the time backfires. It's not because NASCAR didn't try, it's just because what the fans want is not really that good of a product. And so I'm hoping Steve leads us in a way that's, let's let the professionals make some more decisions and get the product where we need it versus letting the fans keep running us down this rabbit hole because they think their idea is better than someone that actually, it's a professional's idea. I don't know, but from what I heard, it's a good move, and I'm hoping that he continues getting NASCAR. I feel we're going in the right direction, and now we're getting the personalities and the drivers that is helping the momentum. So I hope they can continue finding a way to and a path to keep taking this in the right direction. I feel that we're getting there now to see if we can get there.
Yeah, I believe Steve O'Donnell is a good move there. Ben Kennedy too. I think they're ones that listen more to the fans versus the France family. They listen to, I think, more of the media and the dollar signs. But while, yes, the media is kind of the one that pushes NASCAR out there in the public, yes, the money kind of, supports NASCAR. You got to benefit those, but at the same time, you got to support the fans that keep you going because at the end of the day, if you're not making fans, you don't have support. That's just the reality of it. The drivers wouldn't be as big stars as they are without fan support. And what I mean by fan support is not so much of like us voicing our opinions and such. It's like going to the racetrack. It's buying that merch. It's buying those tickets. And of course, when drivers come out for like meet and greet sessions, whether it's at the track or they host their own public meet and greet autograph sessions, like it's those little things right there that help support these drivers and grow. Where the drivers can now support the sport that they are a part of. I think, as you said, Jason, kind of hit upon it. We're starting to kind of make slow steps in the right direction. We lost the playoff format. Now we have the chase format. We brought that back. That because people wanted more consistency instead of relying on winning. We have now. We're going to be bringing back preseason Thunder next season. There's a possibility that the Clash is going to be returning to Daytona. That's rumored. Then there's, I know I'm missing something out of this, but Chris, if you have your technical audio issues done and over with, and get your head out of the rear end, we'll get your intake on this.
I literally committed a whole year to getting rid of Jim France. Do you realize the dance that I made around that campfire when I found out that Jim France was no longer the leader of?
Imagine it.
I was naked. I'm not gonna lie. I was naked, like balls out, baby. You know what I mean? Just, I was happy. I was happy, man. Happy as a jaybird.
Good Lord.
Steve, it's been the battle of the Steve Phelps and Steve O'Donnell. Steve Phelps kind of, he got himself out of the picture. I think Steve O'Donnell, after watching him come on Door Bumper Clear, I felt kind of like he was one of us. Like he was a fan first. I've never felt that way about any of the Francis. Ben Kennedy, being that he's the grandson on the mother's side, he doesn't carry the France name. So you kind of, though he's a France, he's not he's not a France. He's a Kennedy. And I think that his presence and what he's been able to do, like by bringing Bowman Gray to life and these other ideas, like this is the moment that we planned for him. Now I understand he's not quite ready to take the helm, but I do believe that Steve O'Donnell is going to kind of be a bridge to that, right? He's going to kind of connect the two. I kind of feel like Steve O'Donnell right now reminds me in looks and in impression of a younger Roger Goodell. And then I got to thinking, well, who really owns the NFL? Who owns the NFL, right? Who owns MLB? We know the commissioners are, but who's the owner, right? And so who created the NFL? We know who created NASCAR. We know the family that's been behind NASCAR. That's the France family. It feels like the France family's tenure of ruling NASCAR's finally over. And it started by Big Bill in 1949, and it ended with Jim France this weekend at Talladega. Like the France family's monopoly of NASCAR is finally over. And I really believe that all of this has transpired because of his a lack of accountability in the lawsuit. Like he was so full of himself that he allowed all of this negative stuff to come out. And the top brass, be it family and whatnot, they obviously lost their, similar to Brian France when he got his DUI, they just lost confidence in the top brass. And that is allowed, it's funny that we don't hear Lisa Kennedy being in any form or fashion a part of this new top brass that's been promoted. But you have to kind of feel like maybe she was the loudest cheerleader in the room saying, okay, Jim, it's time to step aside. Like, you cost us $1 billion, Jim. They cost themselves in legal fees. The guy, like, literally in court did not seem to even know what his company was worth. There's a lot of questionings that you have about Jim and all the changes that he's made over the last almost 10 years that he's been in control of NASCAR. From the car, this is his car. Remember all the road courses we were going through. He's the founder of IMSA, which is fun. Like, sports cars is fun if you're into that kind of racing. I like oval racing, guys, and I think the NASCAR fans just never really felt Jim was a better. He was definitely better as a commissioner of racing, as the head dog, than Brian France. But Brian, I think we took what Brian did on his personal life, and that kind of discouraged us from ever really giving him a chance. Like, he was always the pacifier baby, of Bill France Jr. So when Jim took it, I think we all felt like, okay, well, we're finally going to get some stability here. And then Jim just tried to create NASCAR in his own image and what he had already created over in IMSA. And I think that we can all breathe now because the old man is finally gone. I literally, if you guys remember in 2024, I started the season saying, this is the year we get rid of Jim France. Do y'all remember that? I'm going to devote my entire year to dogging this guy out of NASCAR because I was just completely appalled at what he had turned my favorite sport into. The old man is gone. There's new brass at the top, and I think Steve O'Donnell, let's give him a chance. Let's see what he can do. And Ben Kennedy, he's young. He's still molding. He's got leadership capabilities. We saw that very well with what he's done with Bowman Gray and the other areas that he's not been afraid to go to: Chicago, Mexico, San Diego. These are all things that I think Ben Kennedy has really helped push this sport forward into. So I'm looking forward to it. I think this is a great move for everybody in NASCAR, having Steve O'Donnell now basically the representative of NASCAR. Sorry, that was a little long-winded.
No, you're good. You're good. So it seems like O'Donnell and Kennedy are
Yeah, O'Donnell goes to
new,
CEO, and Ben
the new
Kennedy
big
is COO.
the new big shots of NASCAR now. As Sharon mentioned, Francis are still on the board of directors. Lisa's on the board. So I mean, Fran's family's still involved in some way, shape, or form, but not making the head decisions of things and
Right.
try to move NASCAR in a certain direction. Now we got new direction, new and hungry people to take charge.
Right.
That leads into this will lead into our next topic here for Under the Hood. Ford has dropped out of the O'Reilly Auto Parts series as of this weekend, but is it all of their doing? Is it teams are not lining up with Ford on that series? Is Ford not pushing themselves hard enough into that series? We knew when it comes to manufacturers outside of the Cup Series, obviously Chevy's got that strong breath or the stronghold, no matter what series, low or high you go. And it seems like it's always been Toyota or Ford that was going to drop the ball somewhere. We knew Ford was on the downfall in the Truck Series at one point, but never fully dropped out. Now we're seeing the dropout of Ford in the O'Reilly Series. Any thoughts of why it could be?
Yeah, I think that their developmental series, their developmental driver program just didn't really work out the way that they had hoped to. You remember they were a big splash back in the early 2000s, early 2000s, late 2010s, and all. Of course, Brett Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, all these guys came through the pipeline of Ford. And unfortunately, I think Ryan Blaney is the only guy that they really were able to retain. So Ford has spent decades building up drivers only to have them stolen away by Chevrolet. I think that they were caught off guard with the Stuart Haas situation. They did not have a replacement. Of course, Roush was really big into the O'Reilly Race Series back several years ago. Then they kind of pulled their tenure there. Look, when you have a certain team like Junior Motorsports, and I'm not going to knock Junior Motorsports, but I'm just going to leave it out like this. When you have a team that's so dominant, do you realize like every car in the field was either built by Childress or Junior Motorsports? Like so obviously it's a lot easier to get a Chevrolet decaled vehicle in the O'Reilly Auto Parts race series than it is a Ford. Ford does need presence in the O'Reilly series, but I think that the move that they're making right now makes a lot of sense. They don't have very many developmental drivers. Really, you go into the Truck Series side, and the only you got Thor Sport there. That's really one of the biggest representatives of the Ford team, and you just don't really see any of those drivers heading up into the developmental series. So I'm not surprised. I think this isn't all they're doing. They're just front row motors. Oh yeah, front row. I think that that's just where they are. Maybe we'll see maybe Lane Riggs go up to the Xfinity O'Reilly Auto Parts series next year, which could open the door. I'm sure that they're working on some team that will be capable of running the full-time schedule there in the Xfinity series, O'Reilly Auto Parts Racing Series. It was just kind of a bum deal when Gene Haas decided to go back to Chevrolet after Tony Stewart left. You had the 41 and the 00, and I really thought that those were going to be the mainstays. But unfortunately, that's just not how it happens. So what about you, Mr. CJ Sports?
I mean, I agree with what you said. It's not a dead duck. I think that they're probably working on things. They probably need to get some drivers in line and throw some money in there. And I think that you're just at a place where you don't have the drivers. So why have cars out there if you don't got drivers? You have no future right now. Why not save that? Work on your program. Make sure you come back competitive. You come back strong. Make sure you got some drivers in the pipeline that you guys are developing, that you got some strong ties with, and move forward to that situation. All these manufacturers at one point or another have gone through their little hiccups. If I'm not mistaken, at one point Toyota got down to one team, and in the Cup Series. So you got your phases, you got your times where all the drivers and stars are in line, and all the developments in line, and you got other times in your manufacturer's history that the drivers ain't there, the product ain't there, the funding's not there, and you got to regroup. And that's where they're at in that series right now.
I mean, at one point they signed Haley Deegan as a Ford developmental driver, and look how far that got them. Not saying that Deegan wasn't marketable, she was, but I just think the results she was providing for the promise that they were hyping her out to be were just two different things. And then when you don't really develop drivers after that, I mean, in a sense too, along with that, I don't think Ford ever really did anything to try to keep some teams with the manufacturer. And I say that because look at the conversion. Let's start with the Cup Series. Look at the conversion of Haas and Rick Ware Racing. They were Ford teams for the last number of years. Now they're Chevy for this year. So now and then when you lose your Penske's, your Roush's, in the O'Reilly series, eventually it's going to diminish. I think, if I remember right, I think RSS Racing was Ford, which was I think that was Ryan Sieg Racing or something like that. I think they were Fords in there, so maybe these smaller teams were struggling to try to keep a $4 bill on the racetrack, which is where Chris mentioned, you can go to your popular bigger teams to grab a Chevy car and run a Chevy, a Chevrolet machine. But now that kind of leads into the question of kind of is this where Ram and Dodge could maybe, say 5 years down the road, look into trying to grab teams to run in the O'Reilly series? We got their feet wet in the trucks. They're looking to go into Cup racing in 2027, but that's not fully definite as of yet. Is this where we can kind of see Dodge and Ram try to sneak their nose into that mold?
Yeah, I really do. I think that's kind of where Ford stands right now. Is they literally see what Ram's doing and what Chevrolet's doing, and it's time for them to pick the crop. There's plenty of developmental organizations right there between Toyota, Chevrolet, and potentially Ram, Stellantis, and Dodge. So what's the point in investing right now? They're just going to wait for the right guys to fall into place, and they'll be back. They didn't take too long off the last time they were gone, which was 1991. So I'm not in panic mode. I do miss seeing the blue oval there. You guys know I'm a big blue oval fan, but I mean, I'm going to sit back and wait and see what they're able to put together. The Ford is, like I said, they invested into Jeff Gordon. Where did he go? Right? They invested into Casey Kane. Where did he go? They invested into both Bushes, and I understand Kurt got fired, but Kyle, he went to Hendricks. So, it's Ford's made strides over the years to develop drivers, and most of the time they just get the shaft in the ends. Yeah, they get upended. So I'm pretty much done on this subject.
All right, so we'll kind of throw these last two little tidbits in, being that there's not much to really discuss at this point. Ram and colleague announce the drivers for the 25 truck for San Diego and Dover. By the sounds of it, Boyer had first dibs of what track he wanted to race at. So yeah, Clint Boyer will be racing at Dover, while Jamie McMurray will be running at San Diego. And along with that, Tyler Reddick inks a multi-year extension with 2311 Racing. Thoughts before we head into our 3S's, Mr. CJ?
Yeah, I heard that earlier today. Happy hour about the Boyer and Jamie Mack. That's going to be entertaining to watch. See these guys back out there and see how they do. No surprise on the Tyler Reddick extension. I mean, you got the hottest driver in NASCAR right now, and you know, opportunity to do big things this year. The momentum's there, so I'm not surprised. I like the extension. Go ahead and lock up your driver. That way, you can just focus on building the team or keeping the team built around him, and you know where your future's at. You know your sponsors know where you're going. So I like the move.
Chris?
Oh, I'm a big fan of the move for sure as well, Mr. CJ Sports. I love the fact that Tyler Reddick's going to stay where he is and be loyal to the 2311. I think they got a good thing going there. And Ram is continuing to go out there, and they said that this was going to be, a free agent truck. And seeing Jamie McMurray back behind the wheel, I don't know if I'm so excited about that. I'm not really a Jamie McMurray fan. I feel like he was kind of one of the softer drivers of that era. Clint, it's going to be a rock and roll party with him. I do like the fact that they're going out and grabbing these guys and they're giving them the chance to go run this truck. When we look at the names at the end of the year that have actually driven this truck, it's just outside the box type of thinking. And each of these decals, each of these diecast trucks are going to mean something to somebody. Somebody that got to see Tony Stewart. It's going to be part of history later on when you look back and see the caliber people, the caliber drivers that got into this Ram truck, and that's just really cool that Ram and colleague came together and come up with this idea to put different drivers in that race truck. I'm sure it's hard as hell. I'm sure that adapting to it doesn't give them much time to get it acclimated to the truck, but at the same time, it's really cool to see these guys come out of retirement, jump in a truck, and go and make some laps, and whether they're competitive or not. I think that's neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter. The fact of it is there'll still be a diecast truck of Clint Boyer racing at Dover. There'll still be a Tony Stewart racing at Daytona. We got to see Carson Ferguson, and we've gotten to see who else has been in that 25 truck already this year? Parker Kligerman.
Parker Kligerman will be racing this weekend at Texas. We've seen Stewart, we've seen Ty Dillon, we've seen LaJoy before he took over the 10 truck now. We've seen Carson Ferguson, Parker Kligerman's this weekend, and then Boyer and McMurray. We also know Carson will be piloting the Martinsville race for the 25.
All right. So, like I said, I think it's a really cool deal that Ram has gotten involved and colleague, and they're pulling these names out of the hats. I think that's awesome.
All right. This moves into our next segment of the 3S's, which is standouts, shout-outs, and shout-downs. We each have 3 names that stood out to us throughout this past weekend. We'll bring it forth to the table. I'm going to start things off. I mentioned in the group, all 3 of my S's come from the ARCA race. My standout goes to Andy Jankowiak. Man, praise that guy. Small town, from Buffalo area, New York, short track racer, TQ midget racer up here in the Northeast, well known, well popular. The fact that he's worked his rear end off 70 plus starts to finally get that first career win The amount of struggles he went through, the mountain he climbed, dude deserved it. And as Jason mentioned earlier in the show, unfortunately, Carson's win is going to kind of overshadow that. But you know what? I'm not overshadowing that. That is something to remember. A shout out, Cletus McFarland. I mean, he made the naysayers believe when he first started racing with ARCA. Everyone thought this is all an act. He's just doing it for the clicks, for the viewers, for the money. And Cletus is, actually starting to become a serious wheelman. He's learning every time he's on the track. And regardless if he's running 33rd in the O'Reilly series, or if he's running mid-pack in ARCA, now starting to become a top 5 contender. He's starting to develop some driver skills in the stock car. And it's just a matter of time until maybe he's a real winner in ARCA if he chooses to run that full time or just select certain races that he really wants to do. And then, of course, my shout down's going to go out to the fan base at Talladega who booed Andy Jakowiak for winning the damn race. Man, I understand Cletus didn't win the race, but we don't need to be hating on the other guy who worked just as hard, if not harder, to get to that ride than the popular guy. I'm a little upset with you folks who booed Andy J for celebrating his first win. Mr. CJ.
All right, my standout's got to be Carson. Just the whole energy of the entire win, and even listen to him talk where he was trying to get the fastest lap. I did see that part of the Dirty Mo interview where he was kind of going up and back and forth and knew that he might get himself in some trouble, and he almost got himself in trouble with that wreck. And so things got a little bit more serious after that. And but the win, the victory, the chilies, like everything, just to bring this excitement back to this sport. Like that is all you've heard about for the last 3 days. And it was just a simple win. It wasn't like it was this crazy finish. It wasn't like it was this crazy race or anything else. Like it honestly was just another win that any other week we would have thought nothing else of it. There was nothing crazy about it. But just everything that he did after that with the celebration and the chilies and going down to Dirty Mo and just how much he truly has embraced it is just really just causing this whole excitement. And of course, the shout out has got to be the other excitement, and that is the whole Cletus. Just this whole weekend, the eyes on this sport this weekend across every platform, TV, people, the excitement down at the track, just what these two have created is just insane. And my shout down still has got to be RCR to be excited that you got a top 10, which was 10th place, but top 10 finished, your only top 10 of the year. And it took a 26 car pileup to even make that possible. You're still getting a shout down for it. Like, come on, let's get this together.
Chris, over to you.
Yeah, it took 10 races to get that too. That's what's even crazier. So shout out. Well, let's do the standout. Standout Marshawn Lynch. Like we talked about him earlier. We need eyes on this sport. Just his presence brings a whole nother fan base with eyes to NASCAR, and I love his true just personality and how he gelled with Noah Gragson and Cletus. And I mean, it's like the odd guy, right? Those three together just really made a dynamic trio. Shout out to a guy by the name of Corey Dennison. Corey Dennison was an ARCA race driver who finished 13th. in the series. But the reason why he gets a shout out is because he's from Gadsden, Alabama, and this was his home track. And we actually got to meet Corey. He was in Big Bill's tavern, and my wife and I looked at him, and we saw a guy in a driver's suit. And my wife, she's pretty well at reading people and stuff, and she looks down and she sees that he has the K1 shoes on, and she's like, he's the actual driver. Because, at Talladega, people wear driver suits and stuff all the time. So we just really didn't know. So I actually kind of reached out to him and I was like, hey, man, so you're a driver? I don't recognize your driver suit. And he was like, yeah, my name's Corey Dennison, and I'm from Gadsden, Alabama, and I've gotten to race my home track, and I finished 13th. He's driving a Ford. So shout out to Corey Dennison. The guy was very friendly and gave us conversation, and I wish I'd have got his autograph. I'm sure that he would have gladly have given it to me. My shout down, I mentioned this earlier, the media, stop making nothing into something. The race was fine. Sure, there's areas that we can work on anything, but stop making this devastational idea that the racing is terrible. Door bumper clear, shut the F up. Eric Eastham, shut the F up. Please. STFU, right? I mean, please stop giving fans, when you can sit there and have a guy who only watched 25 laps say, wow, this is an awesome 25 laps. I was on the edge of my seat. Like, how in the heck is any of that? What are you expecting? So shout down, media, stop it. Just stop with the negative. We had a positive show here tonight. We positively put things in great perspectives. It wasn't us complaining about anything. Sometimes there's just nothing to complain about. So stop it. Stop complaining about super speedway racing. You're going to give people the idea that this racing sucks. And this is the two racetracks where you can guarantee fans are going to show up to. So stop with the negativity. Let's talk about how awesome the race was and how awesome it was to have 3 first-time winners. We didn't need anybody saying, well, the package still sucks. No, you suck, my friend. And I'll tell you, as an observer in racing, whether it's dirt tracks or asphalt, a lot of times what the drivers think is a good race is not what the fans think is a good race, and vice versa. And I've seen it time and time again. The fans want more than what the drivers want. Drivers want an easy way. Fans want competition. They want to see you drive from the rear. And that's exactly what the hell Carson Hocevar did for us at Talladega Superspeedway. If you guys caught that video where he's running through the pack, that was just like, that's the coolest image of the whole weekend.
All right, as we kind of come up onto our final 10 minutes, we're kind of pushing time here. Let's get to our weekly poll question quick, which is...
Go ahead and read it.
Is Carson Hocevar the superstar modern NASCAR fans are looking for? If you go to our Race Chat live page, Chris has either posted or is going to post it, and it will be up within the next minute or so.
No, it's posted. 83%. 83%. 61 votes so far have said that, yes, Carson Hocevar is the superstar modern NASCAR fans are looking for. That's probably the biggest disparity in any of our poll questions. 83% have said that Carson Hocevar is the talent, is the superstar that NASCAR has been looking for.
That is
How about
absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. One last thing there. I think we have hold on. So this is, oh, crap. No. Okay. All right. So we're going to
the long run of Texas. But we're going from Alabama to Talladega, Alabama to Texas, Fort Worth, going 1.5 mile racing. Texas doesn't always put on the best races, but we'll see who is the standout for this weekend. Oh, we got some music here. But just hope we don't get copyright for all that there, Chris. But
come on now, we're choosing Texas, baby.
Yeah, we go to Texas. 3 races for the main series. I know Truck starts their first first week of 6 straight. So buckle up, folks. Get your Texas belts on. Get your cowboy boots on. Get in them saddles and hee-haw. We're going Texas racing. But yeah, let's get into our. If you guys don't have anything to go for, let's get into the weekly rankings. With Sharon, I'm now currently sharing that at the moment.
And make sure that these get, if you'll send me those, that way I can get them posted.
Yep, I'll get them
I
posted to
can
you
get these
right
posted
after
to the
show.
Facebook page. Gotcha.
I got the screen share there, Sharon, when you get ready. There you go. Basement 5, again, we're kind of getting to more of the stagnant type of weeks as we kind of really look into things. Basement 5, Rick Ware and Haas still at the bottom 2. Legacy falls down 1 spot into number 13. This is the lowest ranking that they've seen all season long. Wood Brothers falls down 2 spots from the climbing 5, and they're back into the basement 5 at number 12. Colleague Racing somehow avoids a bullet, but they don't really improve. They still sit at number 11. Thoughts? Start with you, Chris.
Yeah, Legacy is my biggest disappointment right now. And Eric Jones had a really good run. They could have turned into a decent top 5 finish had he not got pushed out of line there at the end of the race. So it kind of sucks that Eric Jones got that taken away from him. I expect improvement coming out of Legacy. Colleague is, they do more with less, right? I think that's not the true telltale sign of that organization sitting at 11. They could be last. They very well could be last on this list, and they're not. But what the trend that I do see is these single car teams are really, really, really struggling. I did hear a rumor today that Hayek Racing may sell their charter to RFK. So
interesting. Mr. CJ, anything?
Other than me still lobbying that it expand to the basement 6 to throw RCR down here, I'm fine with it.
Still waiting on that, right?
All right, moving into the climbing 5, we have RCR moving down 1 spot into number 10. Hayek Motorsports with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. making some moves at Talladega, moves up 4 spots. The big movers of the week goes from number 13 to number 9. Front Row, Trackhouse, and Spire stay at their respective spots of 8, 7, and 6. Any comments here? Start with Mr. CJ.
No, I want to see. I can't remember who all the top 5 is because didn't Suarez have a good weekend too?
I think he may have. Although he was impressive for driving backwards into pit road though.
He passed going backwards.
Yeah, he turned around and ended up having a good day. So I'm curious at who kept the top 5 again. So I know who kept Spire out of the top 5. So I'm curious on that. But outside of that, other than I'm still the RCR is not climbing; they're still falling, so they're still in the wrong group. But everything else I like.
Yeah, Front Row. Look, Zane Smith has been like unbelievable with that team, and I think that Todd Gillian may have had a good run. I'd have to look back at the final standings there, but I'm always keeping my eye on Zane Smith. I really like what he does. Noah Gregson, I know, had a good run. So Front Row could very well be the best that they've ever been right now. And that just makes me really excited because, though they've got Trackhouse and Spire in front of them, they have, let's re-emphasize that. In front of them is Trackhouse and Spire.
Yeah, Gillen finished 11th, but I wanted to also back up the Front Row deal too. Zane Smith, top 5 finish with the fastest lap of the race.
Wow.
Gregson finishing 9th, so Front Row competitive.
Yeah.
And no surprise that Gilliland was a top runner in there either. If you read the fantasy write-up I did this past Friday in Talladega, Gilliland was one to watch for.
Yeah, let's go RCR down to the bottom. Let's get colleague up there. All right, next one.
Our top 5, as we started to push for a little bit of time, 2311 and Hendrick swapped spots at 4 and 5. The top 3 remain the same. Busher, second place, a contention for a win. Hendrick had Bowman. Thank you, Bowman. I was hoping for a win out of you, but I'll take a third place for returning after a few weeks off. Chase Elliott, fourth place. And then of course Joe Gibbs still number 1 at the top. I know Joe Gibbs kind of hit a slump in this race, but it is what it is. So, any comments?
Yeah, Penske. I just feel like Penske's way off the grade right now. Ryan Blaney's carrying the organization. Joey Logano sucks.
Cindric is improving.
Cindric is, but this is what, 4 years into the Cindric. Like, he's in a Penske car. Come on. So I really, I could see 2311 holding that 3 spot and Penske backed up at least to the 4th or 5th spot. But hey, I'm just happy RFK's where they're sitting and Hendrick Motorsports isn't at the top. So I drive a Camry, look, I unfortunately don't drive a Ford. We have 2 Ford trucks, but we only have one Camry. So yeah, let's stick to the Camry. Let's go Toyotas.
Mr. CJ, final comments.
I like it. Seeing the top 5, I see why Spire's not in. The rest of the teams, they did as a whole team were very consistent, and so I'm not going to argue none of that. I maybe can agree with the Penske sliding down the spot, as Chris said, but all in all, I like our top 5. Hoping that Spire can find its way into the top 5, but that right now, your top 5 right now, that's very solid, and it's going to be hard to knock any of those teams out of the top 5.
And RFK is still at number 2. 3 years ago when we started this power ranking, they were one of the bottom dwellers. Just shout out once again to RFK. Thank you, Brad. Thank you for coming and saving an organization. Thank you, Brad, for making your organization better than the organization you left. That is amazing that we're at that point right now.
I will say this. There are 2 teams that have found number 1 as a ranking at some point throughout these weekly rankings, but have yet to fall outside of the top 5 at any point throughout these rankings. One of them is 2311 and the other one's RFK.
Wow.
2311. The highest ranking they've had all season is number 1. The lowest they've been is number 5. RFK, high of number 1 and a low of number 4. Everybody else has found their way outside of the top 5 in some way, shape, or form this year.
That's cool, man. That is cool.
We get to
what a show.
We get to our sponsor plugins. If you want to sponsor our show, feel free to reach out to the guy right down here below me, Mr. CJ, as he starts reading off our sponsors that keep our show flowing. And I hear that one of our sponsors hit a certain milestone.
Yes, got a shout out to Carolina Sports Plus and Mario over there. They just hit the 19,000 follower, I want to say on Facebook. So big shout outs to him and the accomplishment there. I know he's in the busy season right now. He does a lot of festivals, I would say 20 to 30 festivals a year. So I know he has been ramped up and down there in the Carolinas. So make sure you guys check them out at Carolina Sports Plus. And make sure that you guys go check out his website, carolinasportsplus.com. Next up, we got McMillan's Lawn Care and Landscaping. They are on, once again, a record-breaking month. Busy time of year here in the Dayton, Ohio area. If you guys are looking for lawn care or landscaping, give them a call, 937-999-9793. They are looking to add about 5 to 10 more weekly or bi-weeklies into their schedule for this season. So it's not too late to get into their rotation. Then finally, we got the 110 Sports, the 110 Sports and Collectibles Company. A lot of great things going on there. Make sure you check out any of their locations. They got one in Monroe, Logan, Hocking Hills, Lancaster, and West Milton. You guys also check them out at 110 sports and collectibles company.com for all your sports merchandising need as well.
Also, we'll be adding a new decal for this one. I'm going to bring on my son, that Why Not Kid Designs and Photography. I think he's moving himself in the right direction. I'd love to be able to represent his that Why Not Kid Designs photo on this as well. The kid's doing great things in designing people's wraps and T-shirts and all kinds of stuff. I know TNT. You've had your designs, and hopefully you'll agree that supporting a 17-year-old who's worked really hard in the business could be very good for him. And this is a great platform for us to be able to share that. What do you guys think?
I say bring him on. Let's go.
And also, I've got one request. Mario needs to share the show, man. Mario needs to share the show. He's got 19,000 followers. He's got to share this show, man.
But we want to thank everybody for listening and tuning
and Fan
along.
for Racing.
We also want to thank Fan for Racing Radio for allowing us to have our show on every Wednesday night and dealing with us three nonchalants here. I'll put it in a nice way.
Amigos.
But,
Three amigos.
The Three Musketeers.
Three Stooges.
Don't worry, we got Curly all the way over there.
Oh, yeah.
Or is Curly sitting right next to me?
Wait, that way.
But anyways,
he's gone.
Yeah. This has been Race Chat Live here on Wednesday night with Mr. CJ Sports, who just left the room very early, unexpectedly, without an outro once again. Mr. Caution,
Irish goodbye.
Chris Creighton. I'm the Tasmanian Devil Flaggers, Taz Taylor, saying good night. We'll see y'all same bat time, same bat place.
Thanks, Fan for Racing. Thanks, 110 Nation.